So if you're a young guy like me on the internet, scrolling YouTube, your algorithm has probably been telling you about how dating is ruined in the modern age, and modern women are the root of all evils, right? You know, and you've undoubtedly seen plenty of dudes complaining about how dating sucks and all that, which it probably does. You know, you've probably dated a BPD, one of those a girl with organic brain problems. You know, we've all been there, but and it is mentally taxing, right? So, got me thinking. Have women been the same at all times? Or is it like, in other words, is it just our perception of women in the modern age that they're so bad, or have they always been this way, right? You know, if you don't got a six-pack abs, six-figure income, and you're not 6 foot tall, over 6 foot tall, you know, if you're not 6'8", women won't date you nowadays. You know, I'm over 6 foot tall. I got the six-pack abs, and I got like 6 fingers. But you know, that doesn't cut it these days, right? So I did some studying, and I found out about this this broad called Medea. All right. So let me tell you the story of Medea. This lady, she had all kinds of, you know, schizophrenic, BPD. She had all the good red flags. But let's start from the beginning. So in ancient Greece, there's a myth of Jason and the Argonauts. You ever heard of this? And Jason is a Greek hero, right? He wants glory. He wants power and all this stuff, everything it takes to be great, right? So he embarks on a journey with his boys to go get this golden fleece. So they travel way out to the ends of the earth, or at least of what they knew of the earth back then. I'm not sure what the region would actually be, but it was far off, okay? Not many dudes traveling out there, but they had to get the golden fleece, you know? So they locate the golden fleece. And Jason doesn't really know how to get to the golden fleece, right? So he's found it, but he can't abscond it. So, because there's a sleeping dragon that's guarding the golden fleece. Right, so that's a big problem. It's hard to fight dragons, obviously. So he talks to the king of whatever country this is, and he doesn't want to give up the golden fleece, nor could he, because there happens to be a big dragon sleeping on it. Now the king of this foreign land has a daughter, a young daughter. She's probably at this time around 14 or 15. She's a young lass, okay? She's just getting into the dating market. She just got on a Bumble. And so she finds Jason extremely attractive. Now Jason is a fully grown man at this point. He's probably in his mid-20s. And he sees this daughter of a king, and she's really into him. Now he's presumably not into her. You know, he didn't come there to find a trad wife, right? An underage wife. You know, so you know, he came there for booty, for loot. You know, but not her booty. He came for the golden fleece, right? That type of booty. But he finds out that this girl has magical powers. She's a witch, and she's a sorceress. She's got all kinds of little potions and whatnot. And she says this is Medea talking, she says, I can help you get the golden fleece and a little booty on the side. So Jason says, fair point. We'll go with that. That's a done deal, ma'am. So she brews up a nice little potion for him, and she says, now if you want to get the golden fleece, you're gonna have to give this potion to the sleeping dragon. And so they sneak into the lair, give the dragon the potion. Dragon falls asleep. They ditch with the golden fleece, and Medea says, look, you got to take me with you, and I'm going to be your wife. And he says, well, all right, fine. So they take her along, and clearly this is a spur of the moment type of thing, because she goes behind her own father's back for this deal. This is how horny this young lass is for Jason. And Jason, it's kind of a red flag, okay, to betray your father and give away your country's booty. And so they decide to take her with, and they know that her father is coming after him, because not only is Jason's stealing their booty, stealing all the booty, stealing the golden fleece and his daughter. So he's clearly a little ticked about that, and so they're chasing after him on the high seas, right? It's kind of like a ancient car chase. Well, Medea also snuck her little brother along with, and so they're chasing them. You know, they're flying down the high seas, and the king is very close to the ship, and Medea comes up with a little idea. She kills her brother, just stabs him, stabs her brother, and then cuts him up. She starts chopping this dude up and tossing the body parts overboard. And the king can see all this happening, by the way. He's close enough to tell that his own daughter just killed his son and is now tossing his remains overboard. And they're a little bummed out about that, you know. But they have two choices: either let the remains sink and therefore ruin the proper burial of the king's son, which is no bueno back then. You know, proper burial is a big deal. Or go ahead and catch up, kill Jason. I don't know what you do with Medea, and retrieve the golden fleece. They decide that they're gonna go ahead and get the remains of the son that was killed. So they get away. And at this point, have you seen any red flags with this girl? Couple, right? So they go back to Thebes, right, which is where Jason is from. And while he was gone, because presumably they've been gone for a long time, a couple of years probably. It takes a long time to travel back then. And when he comes back, Jason's father was the king of Thebes. Well, at this point, Jason's father has passed away. And since Jason has been off retrieving some booty, the king, the sitting king, would be his uncle. So his dad's, next oldest brother takes the throne, and he's quite an old guy as well. So Jason comes back, and instead of starting some sort of war for legitimacy of the throne. Jason is a pretty reasonable guy. He's a good man. He doesn't want to start war with his uncle. And he says, look, you're an old guy, and I respect you. So you go ahead and be the king until your ripe old age kills you, until you die of old age. So that's all good, right? But Medea, on the other hand, is not okay with that. She wants to be the queen of Thebes. And she's not going to take any of this crap about, not killing your uncle or starting war with your uncle to get the throne. So she comes up with a little idea. She goes and starts putting bugs, not literally, but she puts a bug in the king, at this point, Jason's uncle, in his daughter's ears. She says, I don't know if you've noticed, but your father is getting quite old, and he's probably not going to make it much longer. Now, I am a sorceress. I'm a witch, Medea is what the Bible might call a strange woman, right? She comes from far away. She's a strange woman. A couple of them walking around nowadays, too. Lots of strange women walking around. All right, watch out for strange women. But she knows how to restore the king's age. And so she tells them what you got to do is this is all going to be fine. I know what I'm talking about. You need to kill your father and chop him up and put him in this big cauldron and stir it up, and you put this sort of herbs in there and leafy greens and all that. And bada bing, bada boom, he's gonna pop up a young man, and you won't see him die. Essentially, you save his life. He'll be young again, and you get to enjoy your father longer. And they say, checks out, sounds good. So they do it. They kill their father, chop him up, put him in a stew, put some herbs on him, and he's dead. That's it. Gotcha. All right, Medea got him with the troll, and so she comes to him and says, "I got you. So here's the deal. You killed your dad. We can't put up with that in Thebes. Apparently, I'm just learning the culture here, but you guys don't put up with that kind of stuff. Neither would she and her. Nobody would put up with killing your own family. That's a bad deal. But, in ancient Greek culture, that would bring a curse down on your family. That's called blood pollution, because you killed a member of your own family. So they have to leave so that they don't get the curse put on Thebes. So now, who's next in line? Jason and Medea as the queen, right? Well, this plan doesn't work out so well because the people of Thebes are none too pleased by that idea or that line of thinking. They don't really like the idea of this crazy young woman killing the king inadvertently or tricking the daughters into killing him and then in order to usurp the throne, all right? They're not too pumped on that. So they say, you got to get out. So they totally ruined a good thing for Jason. At this point, Jason has to be like, might have made a mistake. I know I didn't want this in the first place, right? But at this point, Jason has two kids with Medea at this point. 2 sons. But now they're homeless. And they got to go find some other place. So they end up going to, where was it that they went? I forget. Was it Thebes? I might have got that switched around. They might have went to Thebes afterwards. This might, I can't remember. It doesn't matter though. So they go to this other kingdom. And Creon. So Creon is the king of this other kingdom. I believe Creon would have been the king of Thebes. I could be wrong about that. Let's just go with that. All right. So Creon's the king of Thebes, and they move to Thebes, and Jason is looking for a good way to offload Medea at this point. He's trying to break up, right? In an inadvertent way. It's hard to get rid of this woman. You know, you have to imagine Jason's probably a little scared of Medea at this point because she's got whatever kind of BPD makes you kill your own brother and murder people. So some kind of like weird like mix of autism and no, she's crazy, right? She's straight up crazy. You thought your ex was bad. Now this woman, she's on another level. So Jason, he's goes and talks to Creon, and he says, "Look, Creon, I'm a great hero, and a great Greek hero, and I've gone to the ends of the earth. I got the golden fleece. You may have heard about it. It's pretty sick, but I would like to marry one of your daughters. You know, I'm a good guy, so." And that Medea chick, you know, we're about to break up. You know, I really think it's the end of the relationship. You know, it was good while it lasted, whatever. I got 2 kids with her, but you know, we're really just, you know, the spark isn't there anymore. You know, so so you can just get rid of her. You know, probably for the best. You know, she's a strange woman. Anyways. And Creon says, yeah, sounds good. So they arrange a marriage with, by the way, the Creon's daughter doesn't have any choice in this. She just gets the news one day that she's getting married to a great hero, which I'm sure she was pumped about. So, cool, right? Now Medea gets word of this, and Medea is not happy. So, what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do now? She's not just going to leave quietly, leave her kids to Jason to be raised by, you know, or killed, or presumably it could be killed because that's, you know, if you think about if Jason would one day ascend to the throne and he has these 2 sons that came from his ex-wife, right? He would rather father what would be considered a legitimate heir to the throne, right? So they might get the axe. So Medea is like, this is not looking good, but I'm also very pissed off. So what she does is she says, I am gonna kill this new wife. But how am I gonna do it? And then she thinks up an idea. She says, I know. I'm going to give her a sort of a Trojan horse, a gift, right? She decides to give her a wedding gown. But there's a weird twist to this wedding gown. She has, you know, she's a witch. She's a strange woman. She poisons the wedding gown. And then she gets to thinking a little more. And she starts thinking really hard about the kids. And she says, you know, I'm really worried about them. They might get killed later on, and you know, they'll probably have a bad name, and they'll probably never get along with their, you know, step brothers and sisters. You know what I'll do? To really stick it to Jason even more, not only am I going to kill his bride-to-be, but I have to kill my 2 children. Now in the play, this is a play by Euripides, by the way, called Medea. Go read it. But not all of this, just this part when they get to Thebes, I believe, and talk to Creon, the wedding arrangement. That's in the play called Medea. So what we're talking about now is Medea. Anyway, where was I? So she decides that she's going to kill the 2 kids as well as kill the queen. Now, in these plays, there's always a chorus, which sort of represents the the thought of maybe the audience, or it's just sort of commentary on like the crazy shit that's happening in all these plays. So the chorus is like, "Good God, Medea. Not only are you trying to ruin this for Jason again, but you're gonna kill the kids too, really? Like this is too far. You know, you wicked, wicked woman. What are you doing? Evil woman." And it doesn't matter, you know, but actually she does think about it a little bit. She's like, man, that is messed up. You know, maybe I won't do this. The kids, maybe I'll just take them with me. You know, I don't know, or maybe they can stay and work it out. But then the thought strikes her that people might laugh at her. You know, people would never take me seriously if I let them live. Where does this come from? I don't know. She's got BPD. So she comes up with a plot. She goes to the kids and says, Jimmy and Tommy, you need to go give this dress to your new mother-in-law, stepmom. You need to go give this to your stepmom, your new stepmom to be, right? And she tells Jason about this, like, hey, look, you know, I'm sorry, I know I kind of ruined some stuff for you in the past. You know, let's let bygones be bygones, and you know, I'm not salty about it. You know, it's so much so that I'm actually happy for you. So here's this gift for your new wife, right? But it's really important, you know, I want you to take care of the kids. You know, I can't, you know, if I'm going to be wandering around, that's no life for these kids. So can you keep them around? You know, I know you love them too. And I'm going to be real sorry when they're gone, when I'm gone, you know. When they're gone, But Jason says, yeah, that sounds good, Medea. Yeah, you know, I was really kind of thinking about that too. You know, I love my kids. I love my kids. So, do this for my kids, man. And so he agrees, and they give the kids go and deliver the gift to Jason's new bride, and she's delighted. She puts on the dress, and she's like, wow, look at this foreign garb. You know, this is crazy. This is awesome. And so she's walking around, and then all of a sudden she's like, whoa, something's not right. You know, it's poison. But then something even weirder happens. She starts bursting into flames. Like it spontaneously combusts. Like her hair's catching on fire. And Creon, her dad, comes in and sees this, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And he's like trying to put her out or whatever, and by this time she's just like, she's on the ground, she's like melting, like her skin, it's very graphic. They say it's like her skin is melting off like onto the ground, and he's like touched her, and bad move, right? He touches her, and the poison hits him, and he's like presumably bursts into flames too, I guess, and he's dead. Now at this point, Jason's day is pretty much ruined. But it gets worse. Medea, she's got the sword on her. She goes in to where the kids are. And this is not seen on stage, but you hear it behind closed doors. Mommy, what's that? And mom, you know, Medea, she starts hacking the kids to pieces. She kills the kids, both of them. Sad deal. Brings them out to the stage or wherever. But she brings them out, and at this point, Jason heard that she killed At this point, Jason knows what's going on. His crazy BPDX has killed his new wife and the king. So she run it again. So he runs out. He's like, I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna straight up murk this bitch. And he runs out, and Medea, there she is. But this time, this is where it gets really weird and like wacko. She's on a chariot pulled by dragons. Where did she get those? I have no idea. She's a strange woman, I guess. But she's riding this, she's floating. She pull up in the dragon chariot with her 2 dead kids, and she's just kind of laughing at Jason. She's like, yeah, should have never crossed me. Haha. And Jason is like, no, you bitch. Give me my fucking kids. And she's like, nah. And she can't be killed at this point because she's got dragons and she's being pulled on the chariot with dragons. So, anyways, that's Medea. That ending, though, ancient critics and probably modern day critics are very, kind of not too thrilled about the ending because it doesn't really make sense that, like, where did Medea have, like, the dragons and the chariot? Like, where did she get this? This was never mentioned before. So much so that they came up with a term for it called the Deus Ex Machina, which means God from a machine. So essentially it's like this sort of, here's this big problem. How is he going to end it? And then it's just like a big cop-out kind of. It's like, oh, well, dragon chariot. So it's sort of a sloppy way to end the play. But that's Medea.